We tell the stories of vaccine victims because very few other media outlets seem to want to do so. John O'Neill is a 42-year-old man from Essex. He has a wife and 2 young children. There they are. That's Freya in the middle and her younger brother Mason with their dad. I'm not sure whether they're in a park or the back garden or whatever it is, but John can't go running around with his kids anymore. He can't go pushing them on the swings, catching them off the slide, because 9 days after getting the AstraZeneca vaccine, he had a massive stroke on the left-hand side of his brain that has left him blind in one eye, riddled with blood clots, and paralyzed down the right-hand side of his body. He also has aphasia, which the movie star Bruce Willis has just been diagnosed with. It affects your ability to write, to talk, and to comprehend others. And just for all the naysayers out there, John has been officially diagnosed with VITT, vaccine-induced thrombotic thrombocytopenia. It's a lot for a young wife and just devastating for their 2 children, because their dad is a completely different person from who he was before he had that shot. And the family has started a crowdfunding page to raise some £50,000 to aid with his recovery. His sister, Susie Copsey, joins me now. Susie, first of all, how's your brother doing? Because at one point you all thought he was going to die. The doctors told you he was unlikely to survive.
We did, yeah. We were really lucky that he actually came through this. But obviously, with the extent of the brain damage that John suffered, there isn't going to be a full recovery. You cannot have a full recovery from it. He's working really hard with speech therapists to try and work on his speech, physical therapists to try and work, you know, on his physicality and things like that. But a full recovery is not on the cards. It is really, really difficult, because with a stroke where the brain damage was so significant, it now needs to make new pathways for that information to get through.
It's a terrible thing that you have to find workarounds for things that were just done easily.
You do.
You've said, I take it you still haven't received this risible £120,000 from the government that is for the vaccine.
No.
Compensation. Some people who've been on this show have now received it. I think they started sending out the checks a couple of weeks ago. How tough is it then for your brother's wife and children without him in the equation?
It's incredibly tough. I mean, from a financial point of view, John was an IT engineer. He made a wonderful living. They had a really lovely life. So for that to stop, because he will never be able to work again, you know, the financial implications of it are devastating, along with the things that he can't do now as well. So there's 2 sides of it. You've got the financial side and you've got the side where this VIT was so devastating. Yeah. It's just completely changed what he's able to do with his kids. Like, John loves football. He's such a football fan.
No. I mean, no, it's when you have young children like that, you want to expend what energy you have running around with them. And it's terrible for the children too, because their father is, they will think of, when they're older, they will think of their father in a different way, not as the guy who played football with them, but as a guy they went and stood at the bedside of. It's a totally different thing. You are at great pains on your crowdfunding page to say you're not an anti-vaxxer. And obviously you're not, because he took the vax. He's 42. He didn't actually need to take it at 42, as we were talking about earlier, but he took it. Are you a bit shocked at the way anyone who complains about these vaccine injuries or vaccine bereavements is dismissed? Some guy did it on this network, actually, earlier today, is dismissed as anti-vaxxers. Massively.
I have it all the time when I'm on Twitter. I have people calling me anti-vaxxers, and it's actually not the case at all. You know, my 2 children have been vaccinated since birth from like chickenpox and the rest of it. So generally, we're not anti-vaxxers. It's just because this has happened to John, and then you realise as time goes on that it's happening to more and more people, that you realise there is a massive problem here. And it is with these COVID vaccines, but it's just not being spoken about. You won't see it on mainstream media. You don't see it on any daytime TV programmes. We've contacted, you know, many programmes, magazines, everything as a family, and no one will cover it. So